Hi everyone, it's Victor speaking, and I just wanted to make a quick video about Jupiter re-entering the sign of Aquarius. By the way, I'm in Sozopol, but the internet connection is terrible, so I'm hoping that you will be able to hear this video, and then I didn't record it for nothing, basically. But there is so much to cover in regards to Jupiter in Aquarius. I know you've read plenty of, you've read plenty of articles, you've seen plenty of videos, but I've still decided to do one because maybe some of those videos don't really talk about Sedna and Ceres, and they are playing a significant role actually this time around with Jupiter going back in the sign of Aquarius. So before we actually jump onto those Sedna and Ceres and all those type of things, let's just look at what Jupiter in Aquarius could mean in a very short way. So on the 28th of July, Jupiter will leave the sign of Pisces and then re-enter Aquarius. Now, this is definitely the time when you should be revisiting some of the unfinished things which relates to Jupiter in Aquarius. So Jupiter spends about 2.5 months in the sign of Pisces, and then it wanted to kind of stir up your imagination, to broaden your horizon. Hopefully it kind of helped you to find some meanings to to your issues, and then it wanted you to use your intuition a little bit more rather than to be so logical and reasonable. But now it is telling you that you have kind of started building those intuitive skills now, so you need to go back and then use logic and reason a little bit more. So how I'm going to break this down for you is we want to be looking at what Jupiter means in the chart, what Aquarius means in the chart, and then we're going to try to put some keywords together. So basically, Jupiter is our largest planet in the solar system, and whatever it touches, it kind of magnifies it. So I tend to be calling Jupiter as the magnifying glass planet. And therefore, we do need to remember that if it touches something negative, it's just going to blow it out of the ballpark. If it touches something positive, then obviously that's even going to be more positive as well. So without Jupiter, we wouldn't have anything like growth and expansion going on. That's what he's in charge of. Now, Jupiter also helps us to kind of find meaning to everything. So let's say you've got an apple and you've got a banana, and then how can I kind of bring those two together? So it kind of like meets the criteria or meets halfway through, and then try to connect the dots basically, and then create something meaningful out of it. So Jupiter is the planet of moral codes. It's the justice, something which everyone needs to kind of follow. It's basically somehow something to do with the basic principles. So Jupiter is something who always tries to kind of convince you to be a lot more optimistic, to be a lot more open-minded, adventurous. It rules over faith, it rules over optimism, but also it rules over international matters, foreign countries, going somewhere, exploring new possibilities, and so forth. So it is all about building an inner faith within yourself. So eventually everything can work out in the world, basically, for yourself. Somehow I would say that Jupiter is also something to do with attraction as well, because Jupiter kind of gives you the opportunity to attract circumstances which will help you to achieve your goals as well. And that's why Jupiter is something to do with abundance. It gives you plenty of things, but when you don't really follow those opportunities, or you don't grab them with two hands, it usually tends to bring you plenty of negative energies as well. So it's very important that we've got a very strong belief system, or some type of power of the mind is present if you want to achieve something. And that's what Jupiter is actually has got this natural skill at. Now, let's just have a look at, and of course, if you think about it, that Jupiter is all about adventure. So it means that we need to sometimes take a risk with that, right? So Jupiter is more about, yeah, let's just go with the flow. And then when we look at Saturn, that's more about, yeah, let's just practice, slow down a little bit before we actually jump into anything. Now, when it comes to Aquarius, which is ruled by two planets, one of them is Saturn, the other one is Uranus. Now, I would be using Uranus more in the mundane world, and then I would be using Saturn more on the personal level. So, but whichever you want to be using, that's completely up to you. If you are using Uranus, which is one out of the three outer planets, right? So then you would be looking at something to do with Uranus, which rules over the sky. The other two outer planets are Neptune and Pluto. So Neptune would be something to do with the sea and the ocean, and then the Pluto would be the underworld. So these three planets are very much in charge of collective energies. That's the reason why I don't necessarily like using them as personal rulers, because they tend to be spending quite loads of time in one sign, basically from 7 years up to 32 as well. So Uranus is something to do with like a thunderbolt. So think about the Tower card in Tarot, it's number 17. And then we've got that very strong fortitude, and then we've got the lightning bolt striking, and then basically it restructures everything. It kind of says that I need to be rebellious, I need to kind of light a spark to awaken others that something needs to be done. So Uranus is very much about, that's the higher octave of Mercury. So it's something to do with your thinking process, but it's something with the higher realms, somehow by lifting your spirit up a little bit as well. And something to do with downloading important information from the gods. So it's kind of like surrendering to a higher force as well, in a sense. So, and then Uranus probably would be say that, yeah, follow the light I'm kind of giving you, because, think about it, that it's night and there is a thunderstorm. Actually, those lightning bolts are very frightening, but it does give you an element of a path to follow as well. So overall, if these are kind of already a certain element of a meaning to Aquarius, so it's very rebellious, it's kind of that's a thunderstorm where people feel very agitated. It rules over your nerve system, but also it rules over your network, your friendships, something to do with the hopes and the dreams, and very innovative as well. So it always comes up with some type of new solution also. Remember that Uranus lights the spark, lights the spark ahead of us. So we're always going to find a little bit of a new road to go on, right? So, and the most important meaning probably of Aquarius is something to do with freedom, right? So Aquarius is a fixed air sign. So the fixed energy is all about stability, and the air element is all about connections. But this type of air element is something to do with the space and the sky. So it kind of like an unseenable force or invisible force that is keeping us connected with the earth and with the invisible forces in the sky as well. So, therefore, think about it. It's like airplanes, one of the things which Aquarius rules over, right? So we are able to connect different type of points of the world by being able to travel in the air. And of course, when we are traveling in the air, we are not necessarily visible for others. So one of the things which I think Jupiter in Aquarius will result in is something around the travel restrictions. So if I wanted to show you the symbol on cards, how it would be represented there, you would be seeing a clown behind the bars. and then holding those paws like, you know, a monkey does, and then kind of shaking it. It wants to get out. So that's actually very much about the social distancing and very much about feeling trapped in something. So, and if you really look at, you know, what's happening in the world, there are demonstrations, marching, and all this type of stuff going on in the world in plenty of points of the earth. And absolutely no shock. I mean, we had the Aquarius full moon energy. I've made some videos about Aries going retrograde and Chiron and all these type of things. And I kind of expected something like that. But on a personal level, Jupiter in Aquarius does tell you that if you have got a very positive mind, Jupiter, then the limits for you are just the skies, right? Aquarius. So Jupiter and Aquarius have got plenty of things in common. So that's one of the reasons why I don't necessarily believe that Jupiter's placement in Aquarius is such a bad thing, because both love freedoms, both love exploration, both are very wise. Aquarius is the higher octave of Mercury, so it's the plenty of knowledge type of things. And Jupiter is the planet of wisdom, and it always goes after the bigger picture. So it's dreaming about, let's say, being rich. It's dreaming about, I don't know, where I'm going to be in 20 years' time, and then I'm going to be winning the lottery. So definitely, Jupiter in Aquarius has got a very positive energy, but it can become very rebellious as well. So Jupiter in Aquarius definitely tells us to take a big leap of faith and finding kind of a place where we can find contentment or where we feel that we truly belong. Aquarius is something to do with social media, right? Or it talks about communities. So Jupiter, it might be telling you that you need to find a community where you feel you belong. And you can actually associate your principles with their belief system as well. And then we don't need to be, again, feeling kind of disconnected in this world, because Jupiter here can kind of feel like I'm feeling abandoned, I don't belong anywhere, you know, I don't know how to express my eccentricity, yeah. And therefore it becomes kind of like agitated because of that. So Jupiter here really tells you, do you have any long-term goals? Then run after them, try to chase them. So it gave you the imagination in Pisces. Now you just need to kind of make it a little bit more practical, right? And Jupiter says to you here that, yes, you might be failing, and what? Stand up and then go after your long-term goals again. So it's all about believing in yourself, taking a risk, giving it a try, because if you don't do it, you're going to regret it later on and nothing will ever happen. We say in my language that don't expect the fried chicken to fly into your mouth, right? And I think that's kind of saying, by the way, we say it fried pigeon, but doesn't really matter. So, and I think that saying is very much summarizing Jupiter in Aquarius. If you want something, you have to do something about it. You know, as I said, Aquarius rules anything over airplanes and flying. So Jupiter is kind of like telling you here that spread your wings and say yes to things which you kind of wouldn't dare saying yes to. Gain back your freedom, and you might not know how you're gonna get there, but eventually you're gonna get there. So this is pretty much how I look at this Jupiter in Aquarius at the moment. And I would like to dig it a little bit deeper because, well, there is a lot more to it, and then it's not necessarily that easy. So basically Jupiter entering the sign of Aquarius, well, it's going to be actually forming a T-square with Mars in Leo and Ceres in Taurus as well. And by the way, Ceres is also conjuncting Sedna, which is on 29 degrees as well. Now, this is a very powerful T-square. And we're talking about the 29 degree, which is called as in an energetic degree in astrology. And especially the 29 degree of Taurus is associated with the weeping sisters, meaning that it's something to do with losses, sorrow, and grief. So overall, this T-square is very much kind of telling us that it's going to be a very emotional period of time for you, or for us, I mean, okay? So, but let's just break it down a little bit. So first of all, we've got, in the picture, we've got that Sedna on 29 degree with Ceres. So Sedna is actually, I think I made a video about Sedna already, not that long ago. So probably, maybe, you know, I'm not gonna speak about that much. But Sedna is basically the goddess of ocean. A little bit of a story behind her. She was a little bit of a spoiled daughter, let's put it this way. By the way, she was discovered in 2003, and she has got a very long ecliptic orbit. So it's something like 11,487 years, and she tends to spend 100 years in one sign. So, and then she was in the sign of Aries from 1865 to 1966. And that was really much about the emancipation of women, period. But anyway, she kind of refused to grow up, and she turned down every single marriage proposal. And it really frustrated her father. So the father gave her away to a man in the village in exchange of fishes. And actually, this man turned out to be a bird spirit. He was a crow. And the father really regretted his actions, so he tried to save his daughter, but then the crow sent a huge storm after them, which eventually killed him, because the father tried to throw her daughter into the sea, but somehow Sedna clung to the side of the boat. So basically, the father wanted to save his own life by killing his daughter. And so when it comes to Sedna, Astra really talks about abandonment, frustration, the wrong marriage, the disappointment in finding peace, and it's global warming, actually. It's economic and social upheavals, wealth stolen from others, profit made illegally and unethically. Wealth made from the poor and taking advantage of the weak. By the way, Sedna is all over pornography and violent video games, and Sedna symbolizes the drugs and the prostitution, the product, which is actually like promoting some type of violence, and it talks about the emotionless sex as well. So you can see that Sedna is very kind of a violent energy, really. Let's put it this way. It's all about corruption and lies. And now it's connecting with Ceres, which is a very agricultural type of energy. And also, Ceres was a fighter as well, because she was fighting for her own daughter to be gained back from Pluto, who kind of kidnapped her. So these two together now is a very strong planetary energy. It's kind of like the Asian goddesses are crying, and I feel like somehow they're gonna kind of devastate the earth, if that kind of makes sense. So the Earth Mother is kind of, you know, it's all about bringing us the spring and the summer this time around, depending on where you are. But now that Ceres, who is very frustrated because her daughter got abducted, she is going to bring us, I think, very unbearable weather conditions to start with. And both of them had to experience a significant loss as well. And now Jupiter squares it, so it kind of gonna expand it, and Mars is gonna aggravate it and stimulate this type of warrior energy within them, and it becomes a little bit more rebellious, and then it's going to become a little bit more violent, I would say. So there is hatred going on with this T-square, I would say. So of course, Jupiter entering the sign of Aquarius brings freedom and desire, and it wants to have some type of change. So here, it comes with protests, with that Sedna and Ceres conjunction, for instance. Okay. So, and then I would also like to mention that recently, Jupiter was actually opposing Hygeia as well. Now, so much to talk about, seriously. I don't necessarily want to take up so much of your time, but Hygeia is basically a medical energy, asteroid number 10, by the way, if you want to be checking where yours are. It was discovered in 1849, and she is all about cleanliness and sanitization, and she was the daughter of the god of medicine, and she is more about the prevention of any medical matters or the daily practices, such as like you brush your teeth every morning, or you're gonna clean your plates after you ate, or you're gonna scrub the toilets, or so hygiene is something to do with sanity, prevention, about your mental health, emotional, and the kind of a spiritual balance, what it really talks about. By the way, her symbol is the two snakes wrapped around a rod, and which is the rod is actually the staff of Hermes. Now, you need to remember, and by the way, there is also another glimpse as well, where there's a star above the snake. So you need to remember that the snake is an animal which is very scorpionic on one hand. It is about regeneration, but it has got poison which can kill you, but they can only find the antidote from the poison itself, right? So definitely, it is telling me, to be frank, that there is going to be further restrictions coming into our world in regards to COVID. Ceres, which is a weather condition. I think we're going to have extreme heat and extreme cold periods coming, probably with some natural disaster, Aquarius, earthquakes, and all these type of things. And I feel like maybe they said to us not to wear masks anymore in plenty of countries. The masks are going to come back very shortly. And probably I would say that this is going to take place when Mars is going to start hitting the world axis. So basically the world axis is 0 degree of Aries and 0 degree of Libra. Now Venus is joining that point very shortly. So overall, I believe that this is going to be affecting the stock market and the investment department as well significantly. And I believe this is more on the negative side, by the way. So I hope it wasn't too long, and then I hope you like this video. So if you did so, then please press like and share the video with others. And don't forget to ring the notification bell. And by the way, one of the reasons why I chose the background picture was because, it's Jupiter in Aquarius. So Jupiter is travel and Aquarius is the air kind of industry. So there is no better way in the summer like going in a hot air balloon. So thank you everyone for your attention, and see you very shortly. Bye-bye.